I helped my brother leave his bride at the altar because she invited our mother. We are 34, 32, and 28 years old. My middle brother, who is 32, had this experience. Our parents divorced when we were very young because our mother was extremely jealous. At first, my dad managed it, but when she accused me of wanting to be like his wife, he had enough. Mom quickly got with another guy who had 2 kids, and they had shared custody for a while. But when Dad remarried, she lost it, calling his new wife terrible names and accusing him of cheating during their marriage. I was always closer to my brothers and Dad because Mom was very mean to me. Long story short, my stepmom died in a car accident. When Dad called Mom to let her know he was picking us up early for the funeral, she decided to take us on a fun trip instead. She was the happiest we'd ever seen her. When we found out about the accident and cried, she said only worthless people cry for *s. This caused a huge fight, and Dad asked for full custody with visitation for her. He always kept communication open and paid for us to visit her when she moved away, but things were still bad. As soon as we turned 18, we started lowering contact with her. The last time we saw her was at my high school graduation, where she told everyone we were ungrateful, and her husband called us bad names too. We have had no contact since then. My brother Sam started dating his ex 3 years ago. She heard all the stories and the reasons we have no contact with our mom but thought we were just being dramatic. They had many issues because of her opinions, but she eventually seemed to drop the idea of reconciling with our mother. During the wedding planning, everything seemed fine, but when we got to the church, we saw our mom, her husband, and her 2 kids sitting at the front. I immediately panicked and called my brothers. Sam thought maybe she found out and wanted to crash the wedding, so he called his ex to warn her about the potential drama. She told him it was fine because she had invited them. Sam hung up and asked me to go get him while our oldest brother handled things at the church. We went home and locked ourselves in, even when his ex, her family, friends, and others came to try and talk to him. Mom's husband even called, saying he always knew we were worthless. Now that the dust has settled, most of Sam's friends and family are on his side. His ex's parents have threatened to sue for the money they spent on the wedding if he doesn't marry her. But Sam would rather pay them back than marry someone who betrayed him. Our immediate family fully supports Sam, but the backlash has been intense. Edit. Your comments have reassured us all. Thank you. Some have asked, but no, she has not apologized. She even texted my oldest brother, Joe, saying she thought inviting our mom would be a good wedding present since she values family. My dad bought Sam and his ex a house as a wedding present, but only Sam is on the deed. She had keys when they moved in, but they changed the locks today. Joe and some cousins are helping move everything out. Sam has been staying at her apartment this week. We're not worried about being sued, but we'll consult a lawyer just in case. We heard that Mom and her family are still in town, but since we're all staying at our childhood home for a few days, we don't care. My dad is sad that Sam is heartbroken, but he's trying to cheer him up along with my boyfriend and my sister-in-law. I had to delete my social media accounts because I kept getting nasty comments and messages. However, the more people learn why Sam left, the less this happens. I feel sorry that his ex felt humiliated, but my brother comes first. Edit. I asked Joe about what happened at the church. He stood up in front of everyone and told them Sam wasn't coming and asked them to please go home. He assured them that any gifts delivered to our family would be returned as soon as possible. Sam's ex was outside the church when her family informed her, and she started screaming, crying, and calling Sam nonstop. Mom tried to talk to Joe, but he ignored her. When she couldn't get a reaction, she started crying loudly, claiming we were horrible to her, and some people started consoling her. This is typical for her, but Joe and his wife didn't care. When they left the church, Sam's ex demanded to see him, but Joe refused. She then asked what to do about the party, and he suggested donating the food to the staff at the venue so it wouldn't go to waste. Everyone was shouting except Joe because he didn't want to give Mom the satisfaction. Joe and his wife came home after stopping at the supermarket and some fast food places. We've been staying inside like when we were kids, now with 2 more people. We asked him if he wanted them to leave, but he wanted them to stay. We had all taken time off for family time after the wedding anyway, so it's not a problem right now. When the ex came to the gate, we knew she wasn't going to use the venue, so my sister-in-law called the venue with Sam's info, told them to take the food, and also sent some tips for their trouble. It seems we'll get back all the alcohol my dad paid for, so we will have a very drunk end of the year. A couple of people messaged me asking why our dad ever married our mom. The answer is he really loved her and believed she was the nicest person ever. Turns out she wasn't, but she knew no one except her current nasty husband would marry her unless she pretended to be nice. Dad considered staying with her till we were adults, but she kept getting worse. She would be very nice sometimes and he thought she was changing, but then she would revert. As for Sam's ex, we have no doubt she believes mom is a nice person with ungrateful children because mom is extremely charming and funny to some people as long as her nastiness isn't directed at them. But that still doesn't excuse Sam's ex. The only person Sam explained everything to was his boss, who was at the church. His boss was very understanding and shocked by what mom put us through since we are fairly well-adjusted, happy people. Dad said it was a shock for all of us and that we can stay home as long as we need. Sam is moving back home for now. I showed my family this post, and they are touched by your kindness. Sam wants everyone to know that his ex didn't show any concerning behaviors and that he truly believed she understood his upbringing. He agreed to talk to her and her parents today, but only if it's at our home and we are there to support him. It's going to be an interesting visit. Update: Sam lost some money, but it's not going to hurt him. Her parents paid for her dress, a very fancy cake, and part of the honeymoon. Sam's ex wasn't the most beloved in-law, but we truly believe she loves Sam. We have no contact with mom's side of the family. Joe used to have some contact with grandma, but after another incident at his wedding, he cut her off too. Mom's comments about me wanting to be the wife came from her belief that it was inappropriate for us to have daddy-daughter days or outings. The thing is, there were also Daddy Joe days and Daddy Sam days. Our dad always tried to spend time with us individually and as a group. Our mom is just sick. We don't talk much about our childhood, so when people ask about our parents, we just say it's my dad or it's just my siblings and dad. Most people assume mom is dead, which helps avoid awkward questions about why we don't talk to her. Mom's stepkids are both male and in their early 30s. Dad has a long-term girlfriend whom we like a lot. She's been doing her own thing these past few days but says we have her full support. Now, for the update. I wondered why Sam agreed to the meeting after not even talking to his ex, but it turns out she sent videos and photos of all his things thrown on the floor to his best friend, Tom, threatening to destroy everything if Sam didn't talk to her. Tom told Sam what happened, and they informed her that they needed access to the flat before anything else. Tom, Joe, a couple of cousins, and my boyfriend went and took Sam's clothes, electronics, and important paperwork. Sam joked that they were the fastest moving crew he knew. The meeting itself was a ridiculous event. Sam's ex came with her parents and sisters, trying to talk to Sam alone, but he didn't allow it. She never apologized and claimed it wasn't her fault. We don't understand the value of a real family. She said she wanted Sam to value mothers because she was scared he'd take her children away from her, as he was taught to do. Sam didn't say anything until she called our family a cult and insulted our dad. Sam then unleashed his feelings, calling her a hateful liar and expressing disgust for ever being with her. He said he was grateful I am always early to everything and told her staying with a cheating husband, like her mom does, is nothing to be proud of. He detailed all the minor things he overlooked because he loved her, or at least who he thought she was. He said he would never forgive her for hurting his siblings but doesn't hate her because she doesn't deserve his energy. He ended by saying he would let everyone know why he didn't show up since she was playing the victim. Her parents said nothing but were very red-faced, and she was crying. Her sisters tried to defend her and their parents' relationship, expecting us to argue, but we didn't. Sam told her dad he could sue if he wanted, but Sam would expose all their family's dirty laundry, which he doubted they wanted. Amazingly, her dad still argued Sam could try to make amends and marry his ex because they aren't getting any younger and all families fight. I've never rolled my eyes harder. The rest of the meeting was about logistics for returning wedding gifts, stopping the harassment from their family, canceling and refunding the honeymoon, and changing the locks. Sam's ex kept crying and trying to talk to him, but he was in business mode and didn't want anything from her. He only replied directly when she said she was keeping her engagement ring, which nobody asked for. They left without issues. When the booze was delivered, Mom and her husband sneaked through the gate. She said she just wanted to talk to her babe fives, and my dad asked her to leave. She kept screaming that he raised us wrong and that we embarrassed her. She said we should make amends with her because we clearly lacked maternal love. Joe went out and told her to leave, mentioning the police were on their way, which made her start crying even more. It's the first time in about a decade that Joe talked to Mom. She tried to sweet talk him into going to dinner with her and her husband, but Joe just told her to leave. He said the only news he ever wanted to hear about her was her funeral so he could celebrate. This led to hysterical crying and screaming from her husband, who demanded an apology and threatened to hit Joe. Dad and Joe went back inside and left them there until they saw them leave, then closed the gate. It's hard for some people to understand why we react the way we do, but the things I wrote about our mother are just the tip of the iceberg. Dad wasn't exactly proud of what Joe said, but he understood that Joe needed to let it out and that he was speaking for all of us. Maybe that makes us bad people, but we truly don't want to see this woman ever again. We are all going to have some family therapy in addition to our individual sessions. Sam doesn't want the house anymore, but my dad says to take it slow, and the first step is to mend his heart. We've had horror movie marathons and sprinkled in some Disney classics. We also had a drama bingo game going, guessing all the things that could possibly happen. I guess we are dramatic after all. We love each other and were raised to treat people well, but we can be petty when pushed. I feel better knowing she humiliated herself, and while I wouldn't wish being left at the altar on anyone, I would do it again because I love my brother more than I feel bad for her. We will be going on a family trip eventually, but right now we are staying put. To the person who said Joe is a hero, his siblings couldn't ask for a better brother and friend. We've read all your messages and thank you for letting me vent. The awards and PNs have been heartwarming. I'm sorry if my English isn't perfect. Joe and Sam's names are fake, but Daniela, go yourself. My brothers are reading your messages and comments. They want you to know that we know how lucky we are and appreciate the positivity. For those in the same boat, it does get better, and you are all welcome to our cult. Update 2. For more clarifications, PNs are fine, even if they are to insult us. Please know I will only answer in public form. To the person who wrote a mean essay about Joe being parentified, here's the answer. My brothers spent time with me because they wanted to. We had special days together or with each other. They did all the activities they wanted, had many friends, and went on trips with or without me. We had nannies, family, and my dad. They were never forced to take me with them against their will. They had a lot of freedom growing up. My parents divorced when I was 3. Even though there was shared custody, we stayed with Dad 90% of the time. We never visited our mother unless we went in pairs. Joe or Sam only visited her after turning 18 when I was also requested to visit because they didn't want me to go alone. We have all been in therapy for a long time, but we're having special sessions now because we saw our mother again. Joe is the only one who interacted with her. Also, please know that Sam and I know how to defend ourselves and didn't ask Joe to confront her. He did it on his own. Why did my dad go to the church with Joe? Because Sam asked him to go home. We didn't think he needed to see her even if he had to talk to her afterward. Sam has cried. He's not a monster. He is heartbroken because he thought he would spend the rest of his life with Daniela, thought he was a good judge of character, and thought he would never have to see our mother again. There are many emotions, but due to our upbringing, we are very good at keeping our emotions in check in front of people we don't trust or like. It was a survival skill we developed to cope with how we were treated. Joe had a relationship with Grandma but stopped talking to her after she invited Mom as her +1 to his wedding. There was no religious ceremony, and the venue had security and a no-entry list. Joe sent Grandma a letter and didn't talk to her again, and we didn't attend her funeral. The wedding had about 250 guests. When making the wedding list and seating chart, Daniela used other names, which is how we didn't know about it. Daniela is not Brazilian. My dad requested that I inform you all that his kids are not alcoholics. He's worried about people thinking that, even if this is anonymous. Lol. This week has been really chaotic. Those who said to be prepared for the pregnancy tactic were incredibly accurate. Daniela posted online claiming she was pregnant. People were freaking out and calling Sam, asking if it was true. Sam called her and asked her to delete it. She continued claiming she was pregnant. He asked her to delete it and come talk about it. She deleted the post and met up with Sam. Somehow, she thought he wanted her back. I went with Sam, and she was very happy until she saw me enter the place. She started crying and holding her stomach. When Sam asked her if she was really pregnant, she said yes and told him she didn't want her child to be from a broken family. Sam told her they were going to the doctor immediately to know for sure, and she cried even more, screaming that he didn't trust her. Long story short, she isn't pregnant, but she posted that Sam was forcing her to have an abortion and she was devastated. As you may imagine, this was a horrible thing to say. Holiday update. Thank you for all your interest, kindness, and support. It's always a blast logging in and updating you on our cult. First, some points. Hi best sub and YouTube. You're part of the family lore now. I do read every single comment, message, etc. Some commented I particularly lacked a feminine figure in my life, but I had my grandma, aunts, etc. My dad's girlfriend, Rita, is not a mother figure, and I don't feel I'm a bad woman because of it. When I had my period and told my dad, he had a whole thing prepared. Then he informed my brothers, and each had a whole thing prepared themselves. They each had their own approach, and that others didn't know about it. Long story short, I had 3 men taking care of it and even doing a presentation about it. It might sound super awkward, but it was even more awkward for them. It is a hilarious story and reminds me how much they thought about me all the time. Rita is amazing, and we love her, but she has no problem not being married to my dad. My dad doesn't want to get married again, and if he did, we would support him. Daniela is okay. Her sisters tried to make a huge drama and accuse us of being horrible. But after the email sent by Anna, nobody is buying it. One of them was also dumped by her boyfriend because he didn't want to be related to a toxic family. I will not disclose where we live or what our dad does for a living, so please don't ask about it again. We have new numbers, new social media handles, and are planning to move. Joe and I also have a little note with a fake real names relation and do tag my posts in Word mainly so I don't mess up my ramblings. My dad wants you all to know your applications to the cult have been accepted. Anyway, I checked the last update, and I can't believe it was only in early November. Wedding fallout. People were calling Sam because they are so whiplashed from the drama they don't know what to believe anymore. When my sister-in-law Anna found out about Daniela's posts, she called Daniela. I am unsure what was said in that conversation, but I have never seen Anna this angry. The posts are down, but Anna wrote an email with all relevant information, including that Daniela was never pregnant, and sent it to everybody on the wedding list. This morning, we heard Daniela had a breakdown after leaving voicemails telling Sam if she couldn't be with him, she wanted to die. This is another tactic straight out of our mother's playbook, and Sam simply called the police and told them what happened. Her family forced her into therapy, and she is in observation right now. It brings us no pleasure that it came to this. But we don't want to get involved anymore. We are also changing our numbers and have already requested it. Our mother emailed Anna threatening to sue her for defamation regarding the email blasts. But we are not worried about it. Hannah's parents are amazing and have made it perfectly clear they are on our side and 100% agree with the way she handled things. Joe was enraged, but Anna convinced him to let it go and simply move on. Mother's husband has been a peach as usual. Dad is considering a restraining order, but they are not great in our country. We did have a get-together at home yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. There was karaoke, dancing, nice food and drinks, games, and a bouncy house, because why not? We love them. Most people avoided the topic of the wedding in the posts, but those who brought them up did so tactfully. Dad had already given away a lot of the alcohol to his employees. They got to choose what they wanted and got a bottle each. He is also adding bottles into his Christmas baskets this year. We are going to spend the holidays together and traveling. I told Sam about the new paint for the house, but he just doesn't want to live there. He will rent it out. I made a joke about simply eloping or not having a proper wedding to avoid drama, and Joe told me no uncertain terms I get the biggest party ever if I choose to. So yeah, he is still the best. Thank you for your nice comments and messages, not thanking the mean ones, the awards, and the interest. Sorry to the nice Danielas out there. This wasn't about you. Holiday update 2022. But updates. Sam is doing well. He's taking time off work with his boss's understanding. He's living with Dad and working on home renovations, which has been a fun bonding experience for them. Sam is also preparing for a marathon next year. He received a letter from Daniela but sent it back. The house has been put on the market as a rental, and Sam is okay with it. I am engaged. Matt proposed after months of planning. He consulted Sam, Joe, and my dad beforehand. My dad jokingly made Matt sweat when he asked for my hand but was supportive in the end. I'm very excited, and my dad is thrilled to walk me down the aisle, even if it's a civil wedding. Joe and Anna's adoption. Joe and Anna have been on the adoption list for a while and recently welcomed a baby. The adoption is final, and we couldn't be happier. Dad is in full grandpa mode, and it's the best thing that happened to our family this year. Unfortunately, our mom demanded an introduction to the baby, but we served her a version of an order of protection to prevent her from seeing the baby. Family gatherings. Due to the new COVID situation, we decided to stay home for the holidays. We had a Christmas celebration and a small gathering to welcome the baby and celebrate my engagement. Joe and Anna didn't attend in person due to the baby being too young, but joined via Zoom. We gave Sam humorous gifts like t-shirts, mugs, and sweatshirts featuring Julia Roberts since he's the runaway bride of the family. Future plans. Joe and I are considering moving from our flats to houses. We want to focus on the positive aspects of our lives and continue to support each other. Language and adoption. For those wondering, our native language is Spanish. Adoptions in our country are final and done by the government, rarely involving open adoptions. Joe and Anna had been waiting for a bit since they decided this was how they wanted to have kids together. This will likely be the last update. The account will remain here in case something worth updating happens. I wish you all the best for the end of the year and an amazing 2022. Thank you for following our journey. Catch up and year-end update. Background information. Ages and context. We are now 35, 33, and 29 years old. Joe is a lawyer, which becomes relevant in our story. Husband's name. I refer to my husband as HB, but the term huge bastard works humorously well too. Good news. Joe and I moved last year. We settled into our new place as planned. Family updates. Sam's well-being. Sam is doing well and is living with Dad. He's taken time off work and is focusing on home renovations. He has plans to run a marathon next year. Despite Daniela's claim that he is the father of her child, it's impossible since he was not in the country when the baby was conceived. He has offered a paternity test, which she refused. Sam's legal troubles with Daniela's dad have been resolved thanks to Joe's legal expertise. Sam chose not to countersue, feeling pity for their family. He has also started a new business, is seeing someone new, and is doing well. Joe and Anna's baby. Joe and Anna adopted a baby. Our mom tried to manipulate her way into meeting the baby by faking cancer, a tactic she has used multiple times. However, Anna's mom saw through the lies and exposed her on Facebook, which was quite entertaining for us. Baby is doing well, happy and healthy. Family dynamics. Our mom tried to dictate that Rita shouldn't be called Grandma, but Joe and Anna, along with Rita, decided she would be Grandma Rita, and our mom has no say in the matter. Dad's health scare. Dad got COVID-19 for the first time, which scared him into updating his will. He decided to split his assets equally among his children, with a quarter going to any grandchildren. The family house will be put in my name, with Sam's agreement. Personal updates. Engagement and living arrangements. Matt and I are engaged and have moved into the family home. We decided not to buy a new house as I will inherit the family home. Dad has semi-retired and spends more time with Rita. Sam can stay in the family home as long as he wants, though his murals will eventually need to go. Wedding plans. We are planning a December wedding and couldn't be happier with how things are going. We're not pregnant yet but got a cat in the spring, which has been a delightful addition to our lives. Closing thoughts. Minor drama. Daniela continues to cause minor issues, but nothing significant enough to derail our progress. Family unity and healing. Despite occasional challenges, we are moving forward and healing as a family. We're enjoying our time together, focusing on positive experiences, and supporting each other through thick and thin. Final note. I wanted to share this update to let everyone know how we are doing and to thank you all for your interest and support. We are ending the year on a positive note, and I wish everyone a wonderful holiday season and a fantastic year ahead. 2023 update from the cult. Good news. Family updates. Sam's happiness. Sam moved in with his girlfriend, and we're thrilled to see him happy again. He's still in therapy and doing much better overall. He recently ran his first marathon. Joe, Anna, and baby. Joe, Anna, and their baby are doing well. They're still interested in adopting another child, and the baby is thriving. Dad and Rita. Dad has semi-moved in with Rita, and they're enjoying being grandparents together. They've taken a couple of trips and love spending time with the grandbabies, including the cats. Wedding. We got married in December in a non-traditional ceremony. Dad walked me down the aisle, and Sam served as my best maid, insisting on being called Julio throughout the planning process. Challenges. Mother's manipulation. Mother tried to disrupt the wedding by convincing Anna's mom to let her attend. However, Anna's mom stood firm, and we had a wonderful drama-free celebration without her. Other updates. Daniela's baby. Daniela had her baby, a cute boy who is not Sam's. She tried to make him recognize the child, but after a paternity test, it was clear he wasn't the father. Family dynamics. We remained steadfast in our decision to maintain no contact with Daniela and her family despite her attempts to manipulate the situation. Future plans. Home remodeling. We're remodeling part of the house to make it more ours and less like my childhood bedroom. Possible proposal. Sam's girlfriend has discussed the idea of proposing to him in the future, so there may be wedding bells in our future. Closing thoughts. We're grateful for the positive developments in our lives and continue to support each other as a family. Despite challenges, we're moving forward and focusing on creating a happy and fulfilling future together. Here's to more joy and growth in the coming year.